Let's get started here. Pardon me. Welcome to HBRV Lifestyle. We are live here on Saturday evening, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, April 20th. Happy 420. Apparently, my technicians thought that today was a national holiday. Now, I thought, whoa, did I miss Earth Day? And then I put two and two together and went, oh, right. So, very interesting. Um, One second here. I'm going to get into. All right. So we have a big show today. Hello, Karen. We have a big show today. I have some good announcements. I have a little bit of bad news as well, specifically on the RV loan side of it. And I'm going to do an in-depth video that I'm going to release on Tuesday of this coming week that's going to give more detail into this. But I'll start you out with this. There is a large rumor, and I call it a rumor because I know just about every dealership knows that M&T Bank is more than likely going to exit the RV industry on the retail side. And that's important because they were the last prime bank that had an automatic approval program that we really didn't need to run your credit more than once. It was an easy staple the paperwork, fax fund it, send it in type of situation. A lot of what we used to experience with Bank of the West back in the day and Ally Financial back in the day. So that's not a positive thing. That actually really hurts the dealership side of the industry because there's a lot of folks that are, especially if you're self-employed, you carry heavy credit card debt. Hi, Larry. How you doing? If you carry, if you haven't filed a tax return in 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be, um, the reality is we're losing out on an avenue to be able to get some of those people done. So very upsetting. There's more involved in it, but I'm still doing my research to make sure that I have all the information correct before I release that video on the main channel. And then I'll kind of react in my own emotional part of it on the podcast probably on Wednesday. The other really Debbie Downer thing of the week in general is I made the decision to exit most of the Facebook groups. Not just one, not just two, but the majority of them. Main reason why is because I put a set of posts over the last 5 days, and because the majority of people don't know who I am, because I am the very small fish in the very big pond, um, it just came to my attention that I was becoming a distraction. It came to my attention that the posts I was putting on Facebook was not helpful. It was causing more problems and harm because people were starting to say that what I was saying was just another troll or whatever the case may be. And those particular groups don't need any more distractions than they already have. Can you tell me to turn off my 12 volt when I plug my Cedar Creek into 50 amp breaker at my house? Thanks. Yeah, sure, Larry. You don't need to turn off your 12 volt. Keeping your 12 volt on usually helps you keep the batteries charged. Greg Lynch, how you doing, boss? Uh, you can get a mod. Yeah. Well, again, so basically, I exited the majority of the Facebook groups that I was a part of outside of five. And the five I stayed a part of, are purely educational. They have nothing to do with grand design. They have nothing to do with Forest River. They have nothing to do with Jayco Keystone specifically. They're not owners groups. They're education groups that I stayed on with because a lot more people in those big, massive groups know who I am, and I'm less of a distraction. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that I didn't leave out of being upset or anything else. It's just today was kind of the final straw. And the final straw really was I've been seeing this consistent alerts in my Facebook saying this person commented, this person commented, this person commented. I'm like, oh, let me go find out what kind of questions they have. And it was like a troll attack. But it wasn't a troll attack because the people don't know who I am. So they don't know my background. They don't understand what I'm doing because, again, I'm the small fish in the very large pond. Well, thank you, Keeley Pack. Appreciate it. Um, there are, Tommy G. There are a lot of Facebook groups. There's 5 that I stayed a part of. I stayed a part of RV Community because they have like 500,000 people in it. I stayed in RV Life, which is the red box RV Life. I stayed in RV Education for adults with potty mouths. You can tell why I did that. And then there was 2 others, All About RVing, and then there was one other. And I stay a part of that. That's like 5, 6 million people total in those 5 groups, and I think that that was legit enough and easy enough to do. Okay, now let's get to some questions, and then we'll get to some good stuff. Okay. All right. Question number 1. Numero uno. Dear Honey Badger, if you do end up hopefully doing the Lippert interview, we have a few questions ourselves that I think nobody has really bothered to ask. The first question would be, is Lippert, when Lippert buys the steel from American companies, what guarantees do those American companies give Lippert that the steel is 100% American and doesn't come from a foreign nation? And number 2 is when it comes to getting parts from different sources of the world, including China, Taiwan, specifically circuit boards for certain components that Lippert sells, if there is a war that breaks out in Asia, what is their preparations in order to keep the supply chain open? Those are great questions. I'm going to ask those if that is a chance. First off, just to answer your question on the circuit board part, because I don't know about the steel part. First off, if an American company, and this is what's, I try to, I try to like give context to everything. So if an American company that is based in North Carolina or based in Ohio or based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that's why they call them the Steelers, right? If those companies are subsidizing their steel with foreign country steel and not telling the American people or not telling the companies that they're selling the steel to, that would set them up for major liability. Because look how big of a company Lippert is, right? Lippert is a humongous, humongous company. And if you're a steel manufacturer and you're selling anybody steel and you're not being 100% forthright of where it came from as a wholesaler, that would set you up for a lot of liability. So I don't know if Lippert will be able to answer that question directly because I think that's more of a question for the people selling them the steel, which I do have a segue into that a little bit later. As far as circuit boards and stuff like that, I could tell you from my experience that China, Taiwan. If Asia goes to war, joins Russia and Iran in a war to create World War III, don't think that's going to happen. But let's just say, worst case scenario, we turn into World War III here. All those Asian countries are going to need money to be able to fight a war. So obviously, they're going to keep their supply chain going. They're not going to just cut everybody off from the world and have no money, no supplies, no nothing coming in. You can only imagine the sanctions and all that stuff. So, but those are good questions. I'm going to ask them anyway, even though you probably will not get the answer you're looking for. More than likely, we're going to get some kind of politically correct answer, which is what I would expect, because that could set up some liability. So we got to be careful about what questions we ask. Are you Ram Pro Masters reliable? I like ProMaster vans. I mean, they're not the best. Mercedes is still the best, but they're a good avenue. Better than Chevy. Can't wait. Hope you get to go to Lipper. I hope I do too, Larry. I really do. The only thing I don't like is the lack of legroom for the driver. Yeah, that's true, Tommy. Very, very true. Mist raw seal has an embossed on it where it is made. For example, it would have raised letters, Canada, USA, etc. Exactly, it's yeah. That's why I said it's really like an area that they probably will answer the question very politically correct, um, as they should. I'm going to ask the question anyway, because if we get a different answer that maybe their legal department or their marketing department deemed okay to answer, and it's a good answer, hey, it's great. That's why I'm still going to ask it. But, uh, you know, the segue into that is once I know kind of the names of the companies that they buy the steel from, that will be my next interview. That'll be my next investigation, would be into those steel companies, because I think that would be the next logical step. And then I plan on doing a lot of this investigative stuff. So I plan on trying to get with More Ride, because they do a lot of suspension, axles. They're also a very big vendor in the RV business. Even some of the sub companies under Lippert, some of the companies they bought up. Some of the refrigerator companies. I want to talk to LG. I want to talk to GE. I want to talk to Dometic and Norcold. I want to get some. I want to build this education platform where you don't feel like it's the fairy tale or Armageddon. You get the real answers. So that's really well. If you got a Chevy, that's fine. But I got a GMC which has got more than Chevy. Ha ha ha. Also, I want to say this real quick. From the podcast, I've had 5 folks that have reached out to me that live in between 20 minutes and an hour away from Lippert headquarters, that have offered me to come crash with them if need be. I'm not going to name names or anything of that nature, but what I would like to say to those folks, if you didn't get my email, is thank you for the invitation. And I will strongly consider it. I really will. I'll strongly consider your guys' offers. I really appreciate it. I think that's something that's really, really awesome. Doc my pay. Theo, how you doing, bud? How you doing? All right, let's go to the next question. Dear HB, when are we going to get a follow-up video to the Nomad internet? Uh, I love RV Miles's video on the scam that Nomad was running, but like you had said, it's been about a year since that whole debacle got exposed. Curious to see what your actual thoughts are, and have you had any success with it? Yeah, I've had some. I'm going on a fishing trip tomorrow Sunday, up to Jenks Lake. There's no cell phone reception up there, so I'm going to take the Nomad internet and the battery pack with me. That's going to be the second part of the series. So I did it and used it on my way up to Oregon. to go see my kids for their 13th birthday. It was fabulous. It worked really well. I was very happy with the experience of it. Like everything, I do have my complaints. My only real complaint is that I have figured out kind of a trick that I don't think we should have to do, but I understand why I have to do it. When the internet starts bogging down, I unplug it from its power source and replug it back in, and it seems to correct that. That's really my only complaint. So far, everywhere I've gone, I've gotten good, strong internet where I can download videos, upload videos, send emails without a problem, stream video games so far without a problem. So that's going to be phase two. Phase three, which phase two I'll have edited and done. It's supposed to be released this coming next Friday, which is, let's see, the Tuesday's the 23rd. So Wednesday, 24th, Thursday, the 25th. So Friday, the 26th, I'll have that video released on the main channel. And then phase three will happen in either June or July when I go up to Bishop and June Lake. That's like high altitude, no cell towers, extremely rural, extremely backyard type of area where there's like if you don't have a radio, you're in trouble. So I'm going to try that area as well. That's phase three of what I wanted to do. I don't know if I'll go live at the lake tomorrow. I might try. I'm going to try it. I'm going to be on a float tube. If you guys know what a float tube is, right? That's the day I retire for good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my I like to fish on float tubes. So if you guys have seen some of the fishing videos I put on this channel, it's you know I'm either on a boat or on a float tube. Extreme weather package. Brace yourselves if you have children. I'm going to cuss for a minute. It's a bullshit marketing ploy. Extreme weather package really is just another way of them saying an Arctic package. It's a marketing value to you that realistically comes with the same stuff every other Arctic package does. Okay, so normally you have some kind of 12-volt heated tanks. Usually have some kind of exhaust port from the furnace into the underbelly with a sealed underbelly. Normally they put this thin little tissue stuff as an extra layer of insulation. They, I mean, stuff like that. I mean, there isn't really like anything extreme about it. So I've been in very extreme weather in a fifth wheel where you have like 5 feet of packed snow and -5 degrees during the day and -20 at night. And there's stuff you still got to do, even with those extreme weather packages, in order to stay warm, in order to stay cold, etc. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking, it's just basically a marketing thing. That's what it really is. Usually there's switches. The tank heaters usually have switches. They'll say, like, it'll have a label that says tank heaters, and they'll say gray, black, fresh, and it'll look like light switches. Yeah, nothing worse. If it's windy. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Next question. Thanks all you do, HB. Just hoping you could offer a little advice. Thinking about trying to come out of my piece of crap Grand Design and looking at maybe a Rockwood travel trailer. Any tips on what price point I may be able to buy a leftover 23? One of the 30 footers, like a 2614 BS or a 2608 BS. Not sure where invoices on these things and what to expect. Thanks for your guidance. Well, the thing is, there isn't a lot of leftover 23s on Rockwoods and Flagstaffs. I mean, if there is, they're selling them for invoice. Those days of taking $7, $8, $9, $10,000 losers ended about a month ago. we're at a point now where dealers will pretty much sell it for what they paid for it, but they're not going to like lose their rear ends. And you can thank the manufacturer for that. The manufacturers didn't come out like they should. Okay. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be Forest River, Keystone, Jayco, Grand Design, Arctic Fox, Newmar, Winnebago. Doesn't matter. They all decided as a group not to participate like they should. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything wrong with buying one at invoice? No, there's nothing wrong with buying one at invoice. It means the dealer's making no profit. And in a lot of respects, because all the interest they made on it, they already, or paid on it, they already lost money at invoice. So, um, invoice really depends on how much they paid for shipping. Like if you're buying it in Southern California or Southern Florida, or you're buying it up in Canada, you're paying a lot more than somebody, or the dealership paid more than somebody that, bought it in Indiana, because there's no freight. They just go and pick it up from the dealership. Now, that can get you in trouble because one thing I've been telling people, especially here in Nevada, Arizona, things like that, if you go back east and something really goes wrong with your vehicle and it is a lemon law, you got no shot at getting rid of it. You have an uphill battle buying it in Ohio, Michigan, uh, Indiana, any of the Great Lakes states. I know the prices look attractive, but if you got a major malfunction, a major problem, and you live in a very comfortable lemon law state, you ain't gonna get it lemon lawed. You have to go back to the state you purchased it in. Okay. Thoughts on the Winnebago Revel versus the Integra launch? Old Mercedes set up it new, trying to decide if the outrageous prices are worth it, or older new engine setup. Kim, my thought pattern is Class B motorhomes are overpriced. Um, I like the Revel because they've been doing it longer. Uh, Even though I'm not a fan of Grand Design right now or Winnebago travel trailers slash toy haulers slash fifth wheels, anything that's towed and has the Winnebago umbrella under it sucks. But their motorhomes are outstanding. At least they always have been since I started selling them. So I would pick the Winnebago Revel over anything. The problem is it's twofold. Okay, if you go out and buy your own van, okay, and you go and modify it yourself, let's say you buy the van for 30 grand or $35,000. Okay, you find a nice used one and you gut it and you build your own RV and you do it yourself. No matter what DIY people tell you on YouTube, the average person spends about $40,000 building a Class B motorhome after they buy the van. So you're in at $70,000. It's not an RV. So when you go to sell it, if you have someone that's financing, which is still 87% of RV transactions are through some sort of financing, what happens is you no longer get to do it by the NADA guide. You now have to do it by kbb.org. And KBB depreciates weekly. At least NADA, which is JD Power now, depreciates every other month, every 2 months. So you're almost better off, even though they're outrageously priced, you're better off buying the RV that's already bought and that's already built, I should say, than build your own. You're better off in the long run. And remember, if they're financing like a car, like a van, they only get 6 or 7 year financing. They don't get the 20-year financing that everybody's looking for in an RV. Okay, so just think about that. Does Cedar Creek tank heaters work with the furnace? I believe that's the way the fifth wheel works. Well, the tank heaters are just 12-volt blankets, so they work whether the furnace is on or not. It will work with the furnace when you turn it on, but like half the time my furnace never went off on my Keystone Cougar and the tank heaters still work. So It's a good thing to work in conjunction just to kind of keep the water lines from freezing. That's always a good thing. But yeah, Larry, I understand where you're coming from. All right. Next question. And if you're wondering why I'm sweating, it's frigging hot. Okay. And I can't run my AC. There we go. Honey badger. We are seriously thinking about customizing a school bus into a Class A motorhome of our own. We found that we can get it financed, but only for 4 or 5 years. And the more we've dived into this project, the more we have found out that this was probably a bad idea. We already have about $20,000 invested of our own money getting it started and built. It's amazing how these RVers that build these things themselves make it look so easy. In reality, it's the hardest thing we've ever done, and it's starting to feel more like a money pit than what I hear people having problems with. Do you know of any way that we could possibly get out of this bus with the current RV and be able to recuperate our money? No. The answer is no. You're going to lose your 20 grand plus some. Um, you might as well finish the bus. I mean, the problem is people want to build a Here's the biggest problem. People walk into floor plans, okay? RV floor plans everywhere. They walk into them and they go, well, I changed this and I changed that and this is what I'm looking for and this is what I would do different. This is what I would do and this is what I do different. And then they go to actually build the thing and they go, oh, well, I guess I can't do everything that I was thinking about doing. And, that's the truth. You're in Vegas today. Larry, you're only like an hour away from me, dude. My Freightliner tractor been idling for hours. Attaboy. Is it pink? Yeah, the bus pink? No. I don't know if it's pink or not. One of the other things I would kind of say about anybody trying to build their own RV is there's a reason why floor plans are the way they are. People that say we're going to build our own teardrop, we're going to build our own bus, we're going to build our own van. I mean, yeah, in theory, you're absolutely correct. I mean, it's look, the DIY thing is a lot of fun because you feel accomplished. And realistically, the best part of the DIY movement is you know where everything is because you're the one who built it, which means you know what the schematics or the blueprints are. While when I get stuff from RV manufacturers, one month it'll be one way, the next month it'll be another way. So, there's some benefits to doing the DIY thing. Um, so it's very interesting. I would say, just finish the bus. Just finish it. See what comes of it. Maybe instead of trying to build the floor plan that you thought you wanted, build a floor plan that you can afford. You know, you're already 20 grand in plus whatever you put down for the bus, so you're already like there. Why not just finish it, right? That's what I would say. Finish it. It'd be a hell of a project to finish. All right. And by the way, guys, I want to apologize to people that I don't get to all the time. This is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This is getting to the point where I'm getting now between 60 and 70 emails a week. I'm getting between 40 and 50 direct messages through Instagram, TikTok, a week. So I apologize if I can't get to everybody. I'm planning a trip to Vegas in our fifth wheel by the way of Pahrump from California. Cool, dude. Yeah, come stop by, Larry. I'm over here. I'm right off Highway 160, right by the Terribles gas station. I've had several people finally figured out where I am because you know how I used to film. When I film, I see everybody sees that green fireworks sign. So come on out. I'd love to meet you guys. Uh, all right, here's a good one. Morning, just some food for thought on the potential trip to Indiana as a fabricator, diesel, and automotive mechanic. And not knowing your complete background might behoove you to have a fabricator or someone that of that nature to look at whatever pictures you acquire with frame and welding problems and give their opinion to help you with the Q&A part of the potential visit. Good luck. I'm rooting for you. Yeah, no, uh, I actually have three guys that I'm talking to that helped me put together a group of questions that were they can't get anybody in trouble. They get the goal is if we're able to ask those questions, the goal would to basically get the answer that people are looking for without pointing the finger at everybody. Instead of everybody just doing this, you know what I mean? It's more like here's the answer we're kind of looking to get. Not, it may not be the one we want to hear, but it's the one that we're looking to get. Go to RV surplus places that have new old stock, places like Bottenegger's and White Pigeon, Michigan, and XRV in Monterey, Indiana. There you go. Dwayne, I'll forward that comment to them. I'll forward that to them. That's a good idea. Because I don't know where they live. Uh, is there any way that you can find out for us how we can possibly. Okay, I don't understand that. Implementation of some. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I can't answer. I can't ask that question because there's too much personal information in there, and I don't want to give out people's personal information. And it's gonna sound weird if I don't do that. Okay. Ooh, there's ambulances. There was a lot of you, by the way, that reached out to me, and I appreciate you. You live off the 15 Freeway High Desert? Nice, Larry. I'm going to Jenks Lake tomorrow on Highway 38. That's where I'm going to be. Highway 38, past Mentone, California. That's where I'm heading over to fish tomorrow. A lot of you reached out to me and asked me to contact Liz Amazing and to help guide her in certain things. And my answer to that is I don't think it's a good idea. Um, I have discovered I've watched now 4 videos of hers and several other watchdog slash Armageddon type of YouTubers. And I'm trying to say this gently because I'm not on my podcast doing this. Um, the 5 people, including herself, have different goals than I do. We have two separate goals. My goal is to educate the industry. My overall goal is to bring correct information as best as possible, as best as we can, and improve the education process for people doing their homework before they buy an RV. Uh, it is a part of my job. I do work at a dealership. I sell used, I sell new, I do service, I do parts, I do finance. Um, you know, the education part of it is really what I'm about. Do I want to make money at it? Absolutely. Do I want to make 30, 40 grand a month doing it? Absolutely. Do I want to sacrifice who I am and the content to keep that level of success? No. And I think that we're two separate people. Me and her and the 4 other kind of Armageddon level people, including Wingman Wisdom. I just feel like their idea of doing things and my idea of doing things are way too far apart to do anything. So, um, no, she's not a receptive seeming type person. Yeah, it's Samia, but we have two different goals in mind too. Occasionally, I'll get a used one, Gentle Stone. I'll get an occasional vintage used trailer. I don't really carry new ones, but occasionally, we had one last year. It sold like within 3 hours of it hitting the lot, so it's a very sought after thing. Um, and it's a Mia to go one step further, and this is where there's like too much of the fairy tale and too much of the Armageddon. Okay, so you have these corporate RV dealership YouTubers. We're up to like 20 of these guys and gals. Okay, and they are contracted and paid by the dealerships for their massive following, and they cow down to whatever the narrative is. Reminds me a lot of, you know, how politics are talked about, right? And then you have the Armageddon, everything's like democracy is at jeopardy. It's like whoever's in power, if the Republicans are in power, everything is against democracy. If the Democrats are in power, it's a threat to democracy. Everything's a threat to democracy when someone's opposing side is in there. So it's like you got these two very different sides of the fence and you have no one really in the middle, and the guys that are trying to be in the middle are not even in the industry directly. So it's hard for guys like All About RVing. It's really hard for that guy. Yeah, I kind of gave him a little crap on my podcast because of his frame flex video, because it was really like felt like a puff piece. But the reality is it's hard for a guy like that who's a DIY guy, who's a very good DIY guy, to to speak on stuff that he's not even involved with. It's hard for like a lot of these folks, that are in the middle, that aren't really part of the industry, don't have the contacts, don't have the experience at a dealership or at a manufacturer. They are, oh, we've been RVing for 20 something years, or we were a machine weldist for 40 years and retired and stuff like that. So it's just tough. So I want to be the guy in the middle because there's a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of really bad stuff. There's really a lot of ugly stuff. And I think just the two communication styles we're used to on YouTube right now, which is the fairy tale and the ugly, the fairy tale and the good guy and the villain, uh, and there's no context involved. So that's why I think like collaborating with anybody that's in this space is just a waste of time. I look to them for rig tours. Ooh, that's cool. I do a lot of rig tours myself, but I don't have access to everything. But no, they only show the good parts. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when we're exactly, Theo. It's like it's just strange how the communication, the content styles of these large corporate guys and these Armageddon clout chasers, it's like, you know, I'll give you an example, guys. I'm not going to name names, okay, because that's unfair. But I'm pretty sure if you're a fan of the podcast, you know that I lost my sources, at least temporarily. I have a story about my two of my sources on Monday. I want to make sure I get everything confirmed about it, but I came out with a video that was focused on something that I know to be true that's coming out. You can guess what that is on your own, especially if you've watched the video or listened to the episode I had to take down. And within 2 hours of me launching that episode, there was full damage control, including a couple of corporate RV dealer YouTubers that decided to attack my credibility over what I said. And I had a bunch of people come to my defense, which was really impressive. But there's just, I don't know, this is just it's a tough industry because YouTube, it's hard for a guy like me to grow on YouTube because I don't have a fancy video editor. I don't sit there and throw clickbait titles out there. I try to make them intriguing, but not clickbaitish. I don't have these beautiful thumbnails that are done by an artist to, make you want to click on the video. I just give you the information. So it's hard for a guy to grow like that. Yeah, I mean, it don't matter to me. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it all day. I'll take it all bloody day. Um, but it's interesting because on TikTok, this is the funny part. Nobody tried to attack me on TikTok. They all attacked me on YouTube. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, TikTok just grew. As it's being banned by our government, my TikTok this year went from like 10,000 followers to 31,000 followers in 4 months. I'm getting like a 250,000 views on TikTok on 10-minute videos. An app that's supposed to be like for 5 and 10 second bored people. Really interesting. Um, but yeah, very cool. Okay. Last question, then I've got some stuff I want to talk about, okay? Uh, Dear Honey Badger, we would love to see your daughters do some walkthrough videos with you at some point. It seems like they had a lot of fun on your podcast episode, and they did a fabulous job, and we'd love to keep hearing from them because they sound like just amazing kids. Seems like you and your wife raised them right. When can we possibly expect that? Probably not until fall. They're pretty busy. They got busy lives. They're 13 years old. We're in two separate states right now. They're getting ready for a long trip to Mexico to go see family, and um, you know, they're they'll be back. Trust me, they'll be back. They love doing it, so they will be back. When you are doing good, people always have negative thoughts. This is absolutely true, Basic Mom. That's what I kind of want to talk about. What I want to say is a couple things. First thing I really want to say is thank you to everybody that has subscribed, followed, listened, watched all the content. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sending me the emails. Thank you for getting me involved in the frame failure and frame flex discussion. I had no damn clue that any of this was going on because I don't deal with grand design and I don't really sell that many fifth wheels. Most of what I sell is used stuff. So I had no clue. So I want to thank all of you because even though I was a little like, really, I'm going down this rabbit hole. And I still haven't reached Wonderland, but thank you because getting me involved in this has actually opened doorways where I can get more answers and get more access to things. If this Lippert thing goes well, if I can get into more ride, I've got 5 other interviews that I'm actually working on besides those two. Uh, 2 of them are definitely going to happen. If the Lippert thing does not go through, my first interview is going to be with some folks that are from uh, we'll just say they're from the wholesale side of the industry. I can't give away too much yet because we still got to sign docs to do the interview. But they're going to come on the podcast. That's probably going to be something that we're going to do probably end of May. We have a lot going on. I've got an actual real factory tour and a talk with a president and CEO of that factory. I'm going to do it on the main channel here, and I'm going to do a separate interview with him and a couple other people on the podcast. That's going to happen either mid May or early June. So that is in the works and in the pipeline. That's a done deal. That is happening. The other thing, but you have insider industry insights and long-term observations. Absolutely. I do because I've been doing it so bloody long. I've seen so much of this happen in 15 years. Uh, there also is the possibility I'm trying to get a few of the full-time RVers. I've reached to a lot of them out there, the brand ambassadors and stuff like that. And I also put a request in to interview the guys at Alliance RV. I got a really good shot at that one. I know I do because there's some history there. As long as I remember the history, I have some history there, so I should be able to do that. You're also going to see me probably starting in fall of this year. I'm probably going to start hitting the road and going to different cities and going to RV shows in different cities. I think it's just time. I mean, I think I'm going to have the time to do it if I can fly out on a Saturday and be back on a Tuesday. Spend 1 to 2 days at every RV show I can across the United States. That's going to be a goal of mine this year, going into 2025. So I'm going to try to announce it weeks in advance. So if you guys happen to be in that city, you can come check it out. Um, the other thing I really want to start doing is I want to start putting content on Twitter. I have a Twitter account, okay, and I'd like to grow that Twitter account. It is it's at LVIN2, the number 2, LVIN, the number 2, and Jonathan, JOHNATHAN. Um, I always have it linked in the description of every video. Uh, there's a lot going on that are very positive things, and I really think that it's because of you guys. I think it's because of everybody watching this live stream right now. When you watch it later on this weekend into this week, uh, all the videos, the podcast. I mean, I'm busier than a hornet's nest. It's crazy. I never thought I'd be this busy. And, eventually, I'm going to have to bring on some help. Yeah, I think he more ignores what I do. I told him, I sent him a text. It's on the phone, if I'm streaming on the phone. I sent him a text the other day, and I said, hey, you'll never believe who I might get to interview. And he goes, who? And I said, I might get to do an interview on camera with Lippert. And he goes, are you leaving me for another job? I'm like, no, dude, for the YouTube channel. He sent me a text back, nice. And I go, I text him back, yeah, but I'm scared, I'm nervous. And he goes, stop being such a, you could fill in the blank there. So very interesting. X is I just think that I think I can do more updates on X and Instagram, more on demand. I'm starting to learn how to use Twitter and Instagram to give more instantaneous updates because I know as we progress this, as I get bigger, I need to give people more up to date information quicker. And Twitter and Instagram are the two easiest ways to do that. So if you guys can, if you have Twitter, please go follow me there. So that way that can kind of grow. And you're going to start seeing me use it more and more. Yeah, I am. I am in the process of building a brand. There are so many opportunities out there. And again, the viewers and the listeners and the community is the reason why. I'd love, right now we're averaging about 100,000 long form views, which is live streams and not the shorts, but the the walkthrough videos, the education videos I put out about RV financing, the frame flex stuff, the refrigerator stuff, all that stuff. We average now about 100,000 views a month, just in that. We're averaging about 1.2 million impressions a month. That's just a sign of growth. And I'm really, really excited for the growth. I mean, I'm a little scared about it, but I'm really excited about it. More followers for you. I hope that's why you're the honey badger. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I was, I had this in the last 2 days. I've had 5 people show up, their subscribers to this channel or to the podcast. And, I appreciate all of you that come by and talk. And 2 of you bought. Um, the others, you guys are still in the decision of making still in your process. A couple of you are upside down in your trade, pretty interestingly. Some of you are waiting till you can get some more down payment to lower your payment down. These are all positive movements. It's a process. It's a process that doesn't happen like a car. It's more, and it doesn't happen like a house. It's very different, and it's very exciting. Nice, Monica. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, right. I got a buddy named Ryan and a buddy named Archie, and they keep telling me that when you hit it big, don't forget about the little guy. I go, I can't forget about my guys, man. You know, I have one very high ranking executive in the RV industry that is a fan of both the main channel and the podcast. Very high ranking individual, worth more money than anybody can spend. And him and I had a good conversation, and he told me, don't you dare ever join a corporate dealership. You stay independent, you stay you, and you do your thing because we need someone like you in this industry. And it's very rare, and we don't want you going anywhere. And anything he can do to help me grow, he's going to try to do without being like involved. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, you're gonna drive my tour bus. Yeah, okay. You're gonna drive. Yeah. Cigar in one hand, beer in the other hand. See, if it were me, I would be like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? I'd be going to races, drink beer, smoke cigars, be on a ranch like Broken Skull Ranch. That would be a piece of heaven for me to have my own. Instead of doing this out of a travel trailer or an office or outside on a lot, to be able to do some of this with like proper equipment in a soundproof room, like in a barn, that would be freaking bitchin'. That would be awesome. This is true, and this is why they want me. This is why a lot of the industry wants me to stay independent. I don't know where that came from. I don't know. See, some of these guys share information with me, but can't share it all because some, like, there's so many like circular rumors that go around that are bad rumors that don't really have anything to do with it. Like, there was a rumor Lance Trailers was going to close down. Everybody and their mama knows Lance Trailers ain't going to close down. Okay. But it's said to kind of jerk the knife into somebody's side and twist it to see if they can get a reaction. You know, and I do have a certain freedom. Um, I can't say everything I want to say, but I can say a lot. I can say more than most. There are certain things I can't say because, number one, it's out of emotion, it's not out of education. And number two, there are certain things I can't say because it would get me completely blacklisted out of the industry unless, like, I had somebody backing me up on it. Um, so, but just a sneak peek. 2 of my sources are no longer uh, employed in the in the industry in some form or the other. And I'll explain more about that on Monday night's podcast. Um, kind of sad. You're welcome, Larry. I don't mind sharing. Sharing is caring, man. I mean, I always felt knowledge is power, and that's how I sold. I wasn't the best. I'm not the best, but I sold with my product knowledge and my knowledge of the industry and what I learned. So anyway, I'm gonna cut this a little short this evening. I'm a little tired, and I gotta get up in 4 hours and start making a trip to float tubing and trout fishing. So enjoy your weekend, enjoy Earth Day, enjoy NBA basketball, playoff basketball if you guys are enjoying that. And until next week, remember next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Have a good one.